What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land. There's some news regarding some upcoming games, and I'm just going to jump straight into it. So, apparently we've been hearing rumors that there's going to be a couple more Switch 1 games before we jump into Switch 2 for the beginning of next year. And right now, February is clean open, with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD in January and Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition in March. But we might know another game that's coming at the beginning of next year. This actually comes from Nin10doland that claims that he knows Kirby Planet Robobot is actually coming to Switch sometime next year, and it's apparently going to be an HD remaster, which is pretty interesting. Now, I have a lot to say about this, but Nin10doland is pretty reliable for the most part. He's gotten a lot right in the past, and it seems to be one of the few people in the industry that genuinely knows what they're talking about and trust their sources, and their sources are trustworthy. But with that said, what do I think about this? Well, Kirby Planet Robobot is seriously one of the greatest Kirby games out there, so clearly this is just a huge win. But I think the thing that bothers me, and probably a lot of people, is the fact that it's just an HD remaster instead of a remake like Kirby's Return to Dreamland got. Now, Nintendo's pretty lazy when it comes to remasters. Now, I don't know who's handling this. I'm sure HAL is going to outsource this to some other company. But man, lots of the HD remasters for Nintendo always seem cheap and just kind of slapped together, and sometimes, and in some cases, worse than the originals. I mean, look at Donkey Kong Country Returns right now. It's going through backlash of just looking really bad, and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, to me, also really didn't look that good. I know a lot of people still almost consider it a remake because some of the models changed. I get that, but man, it still just looks like a 3DS game slapped onto the Switch. So I'm hoping this one gets a lot more effort and it actually looks really good, kind of like Metroid Prime Remaster got. I mean, besides that, I think we all kind of expected these games to finally come eventually, you know what I mean? But the only thing that actually makes me really upset about this is the fact that it's just a remaster of this game and not Triple Deluxe bundled in. How in the world is Triple Deluxe not going to be bundled into this thing? Because I feel like both of those games are excellent in their own rights. It may not have Robobot armor and some of the stuff that Robobot has, but Triple Deluxe is a really, really good Kirby game. And in some instances, I think it does some things better than Planet Robobot, including its ending. So I don't understand why in the world Nintendo wouldn't bundle these two games, even if they could just make them as dumbed down and basic versions as they possibly could. Just give us both of them on Switch in a collection pack. So only having one of these games and not the other just seems strange to me. I don't know. Once again, this is just a rumor right now. We don't know if it's going to be true, but I'm pretty much betting on this to be true because it's one of those things, like I said, I've been expecting for a very long time, and it just makes sense in the schedule for Kirby as we're still waiting for the next mainline game, probably the next big 3D or even 2D Kirby game. This just makes sense, another remake or remaster of an older game. Personally, I still think it should be a remake. I love what they did with Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and I would love to see kind of a full-fledged new mode, maybe some like side story with Susie where we could actually play as Susie like we could in Kirby Star Allies. That would be really cool, seeing her backstory and kind of where she came from, or maybe even having a post-game for her or something like we had with Magalore's epilogue. So like Susie's epilogue was something that I thought would have been really cool, and I've even had like ideas and plans for that, so maybe I'll do that in a separate video, but it's something that would have been really cool, and they could have did the same thing with Triple Deluxe, where they could have had like a Tatanga's epilogue or something like that, where you could play as that side character, pretty much just playing as the villain and finding out what happens after, you know, the game ended, because I would love to find out more about Susie, where she flew off to, and maybe even shown like a separate game mode for her. So it sucks that this could just be an HD remaster. Now, Samus Hunter chimes in on this, which is another kind of insider that has been wrong about some things in the past, but this year has been pretty daggone accurate. But states, Nin10doland in his podcast confirmed Kirby Planet Robobot coming to Switch in the first half of 2025. Well, I can confirm that yes, I heard a 3DS Kirby remake game too. So Samus Hunter is almost saying remake, so maybe it's not a remaster, maybe it's a remake, maybe it's just a wording thing that she's using here, I don't know, but it says the other game I heard is a Fire Emblem remake. Now, like I said, Samus Hunter has been pretty daggone accurate this year, even leaking things like the Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition game coming literally days before the announcement, and also sent out a tweet about a month ago stating that we would not be hearing about the Switch 2 anytime soon, even though all the other quote-unquote leaks leakers were saying something was about to happen in October and even some in November, but she said no, there's still games to be announced for Switch 1, and we're going to have to wait for those games to be announced before anything comes out for Switch 2, and as you can tell, maybe that's exactly what we're waiting on. She also came out underneath that tweet and said, so now you know what to expect before the new console launch. What games do you expect for the Switch successor first year? So it seems like that's about it. Everything that we know so far, plus maybe a Kirby game, maybe some Metroid Prime remasters thrown in here or there, and of course some type of Fire Emblem remake or remaster. Yeah, just lots of old games as we get ready for Switch 2, which is something that we've already expected. Now the question is, what is this Fire Emblem remake? And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really know anything about Fire Emblem, but there has been something that's been going around for so long now, and apparently there was some genealogy of the Holy War remake that I believe came out back on the SNES, and it's something that a lot of people have been mentioning that was going to happen, and we still have never seen it to this day, so maybe it's finally time to see this remake, you know, with a Xenoblade and a Fire Emblem in the same year. It sounds exactly like something Nintendo would do. But honestly, this is super exciting, and it's one of the few 3DS games that I really wanted to be brought over. That in Link Between Worlds, and obviously Kid Icarus Uprising is a huge one, so still a little bitter by that. But still, I cannot wait to play Planet Robobot again. I just hope it actually gets a better remaster of what we've seen, or a remake, or maybe some type of combo pack with Triple Deluxe. Either way, I'm excited. But let me know in the comments down below what you think, and thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.